Hey, what up, peeps? This is Mike, in case you don't know me. And um, it took me a long time to make the decision to make this video. Um, you'll see why. And today, I just felt that it was the right time, the right moment, the right day. And I was like, it's time. Let's do this. Um, why am I making this video? Well, I think I have two reasons for that. The first is because I need to. I need to do this as part of my closure. I need to do this so I can be open about talking about personal stuff. Sometimes we're a little bit shy. Sometimes we are scared of being ashamed. Um, but I wanted to make this video, and I was no longer ashamed, and I was no longer afraid to say the things that I'm about to say. So I felt it was the right time, and I think it is. The future time will tell if it was the right time or not. And the second reason why I'm making this video is because I hope I can maybe provide some kind of assistance to those who might be experiencing this type of situations. Maybe what I went through and what I'm going through might be something that somebody else is going through at the same time, and they might feel that they're by themselves, that they're alone. And I can tell you, and I can prove to you that you're not. So I wanted to use my life as an example. So that's the second reason. So I was born and raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Um, I grew up in a family that holds a lot of traditions. I was born in a Mexican family, and I believe I had a great childhood. I seriously believe that I had a great childhood. Being a Jehovah's Witness is quite interesting, and for those who are not familiar with Jehovah's Witnesses, JWs are or is a religion that started in the late 19th century here in the U.S. and it has become quite popular, particularly due to their preaching activities. You know, those who go and knock on your door and want to talk to you about the Bible, about God, or those who you talk to at the train station, at the bus stop, those who you meet on the street, and they want to give you some magazines or some Bible literature. Those are Jehovah's Witnesses. Do not confuse them with Mormons. Mormons do their thing as well, but Jehovah's Witnesses are worldwide known because of that particular activity. And I was one of them. Officially speaking, I'm still one of them. Um, so one of the things that I really liked about Jehovah's Witnesses is that it is a religion driven by family values, and it is very social. Very social. So growing up in this type of community, it was a blessing. It was awesome. It was great. Um, it was so easy to make friends because all of those who were part of that community, they were just loving people, and we got to meet constantly, regularly, twice, three times a week. So you would grow a certain kind of affection to them. They were part of your family. Um, but as you grow older, you start questioning things. And I think that's actually a good sign, a healthy sign of you becoming an adult, maturity, right? So you start questioning things. Why is this way the way it is? Why not this other way? Kind of like when kids are asking questions about why, right? But adults, obviously these questions are more introspective, more in depth, right? So, of course, I started doing exactly the same thing, questioning things, questioning my beliefs, questioning my identity, questioning everything. And one of the things that I questioned at that time was, is there really a God? And as time progressed, I started not believing in God. So that was like when I was 17, 18. And when I became 18, I didn't like what was going on. I didn't like the fact that I was kind of losing my faith in God. So I started focusing more in the religion, more activities, be more involved into the witness world. And I became an MS, which is stands for ministerial servant. It's just basically one step below becoming an elder or a priest. So I became an MS at 18, which is the youngest you can ever be to be an MS. And I started getting involved into the congregation, doing speeches or talks, conducting studies, going to different kingdom halls or churches or congregations and talking, giving talks. It was great. It kept my mind focused and busy, that's for sure. But it didn't do anything when it comes to my foundation of my belief in God. So I became an atheist, a closeted atheist, that is. And unfortunately, one of the other side of the coin when it comes to JWs is that you cannot be an atheist, of course. You cannot and should not doubt. You should not openly doubt about things. If you have doubts in your mind, you should not talk about them. And if you have changed your beliefs or you have changed your ways of thinking, particularly the belief in God, then you basically have parted ways with the religion. You have deviated from your old religion, your old set of beliefs. And one adjective that describes the parting or the deviation from your old beliefs is called apostasy. So when you do that, you become an apostate and you are therefore disfellowshipped. And disfellowship is another word, a fancy word that basically means excommunication. You're thrown out of the religion. You are thrown out of the congregation. And when you have this type of community where you are not allowed to make friends with people who are not witnesses, and let me stress that word, not allowed to be friends with people who are not witnesses, then that is all of your community. That's all you know. That's your social environment. That's your social support. And some people argue, yeah, you can be friendly with people. Yes, you can, absolutely. And actually, Jehovah's Witnesses are very friendly for the most part. But you're not allowed to build close friendships with people who are not Jehovah's Witnesses. That is the rule. That is simply the rule. That's the way it is. And that's sad because a lot of people don't build relationships with outsiders. They don't know what's on the other side, how they really think. This concept of being safe inside and being really in danger outside, it creates this notion of fear to the unknown, fear to what's not similar to your way of thinking. And when you cannot express or voice your opinions, voice your doubts, voice your questions to your social environment, your social friends, your acquaintances, when you cannot do that, then you keep everything inside of you. And then you become a hypocrite. I felt that way. I was not believing in God. I was praying in front of the congregation, or I was talking or teaching about God to other people, when in reality I did not believe in Him at all. So that made me the biggest hypocrite there is, and he pays a toll. So I started to feel very depressed, and that depression continued for years, and I still believe that it continues so far. Yeah, still. And when you don't have that ability to express your concerns, your doubts, your opinions to anybody, because you fear that you will be reprimanded, because you feel that they will laugh at you, or worst of all, you will be disfellowshipped. When that happens, everybody stops talking to you. You're excommunicated. And my foundation of my atheism, my lack of the belief in God, was very solid. It had been solid for years. So it was not a new thing. And people would not understand that. So when you are disfellowshipped, and especially when you're disfellowshipped with the charge of being an apostate, people are not allowed to talk to you. And let me stress that word again. You are not allowed as a Jehovah's Witness to talk to a person who's disfellowshipped. It is part of the rules. If you get caught talking to a disfellowship person, you're consoled and you're told not to do it again. And if you do it again, you are disfellowshipped. So people who are disfellowshipped, witnesses cannot say hi to them, they cannot socialize with them, they cannot talk to them, they cannot even wave at them, shake hands with them. Absolutely nothing. They cannot. They're not allowed to do that. And the reason they do this, particularly for those who are apostates or people who are no longer in the same mentality as Jehovah's Witnesses, the same part of the religion, or they decide to no longer be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. The reason they do this, creating this distance between a witness and non-witness, is for protection. Disfellowship people, especially apostates or those who are no longer witnesses and choose to no longer be witnesses, they do that for protection. They consider them corruptive sources. They can corrupt your way of thinking. They can convince you to leave the religion. And I mean, obviously, I have no interest in convincing anybody to leave anything. I am convinced that I should help others understand why I'm going through this and why I made the decisions that I did. But if people want to continue with their beliefs, so be it. I let them do whatever they want, and I expect them to do the same. But people keep their opinions and keep their fears and keep everything bottled in because they are afraid that they would be disfellowshipped. And that was my case. That creates a lot of anxiety. That creates a lot of, fear. You lose your sense of worthiness. You become quite shy. I became very shy. I mean, I'm a very outspoken person. I tend to be very, absolutely the opposite of being an introvert. Very extrovert. But I felt like less than. I felt that people should not trust me, that I was a very bad person. I mean, an apostate is worse than a pedophile, a murderer. It's treated as the worst person there is in the world for Jehovah's Witnesses. And I'm still a 20-year-old person, late 20s, of course, who is quite social, likes to go partying and likes to read books and likes to whatever, right? I'm a normal guy in many ways. I like to travel. But yeah, in the eyes of a lot of people, I was a very dangerous and poisonous person because I had parted ways with my religion. So when you're disfellowshipped, and like I said, I'm still not disfellowshipped yet. You're cut off from all of your social acquaintances or friends. And if you had your best friends, obviously being witnesses, they were no longer your friends and they could not talk to you. If your family members are Jehovah's Witnesses, they should do the same thing. There's a few exceptions, like if you're married to somebody who's disfellowship, well, you're still married to that person, etc., etc. But for the most part, you're not to socialize with them. Only in emergencies or when you die. So that scares a lot of people, and I was one of them. But I started making changes. Obviously, I was no longer an MS, a ministerial servant. I stopped certain activities, although I kept going to preach or service because I loved it. I always liked talking to people. But I stopped participating in other activities, and people noticed. People noticed. People were wondering what was going on with me, and I couldn't tell them because as soon as I would tell them, it was just kind of like a Pandora box. So I pretended that everything was fine. I created this fake facade. I created this facade that kind of portrayed everything was okay, when in reality I was dying inside. It affected me in many ways. Mind you, all the people that you're supposed to socialize with, witnesses, if you want to find a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you can only do that within the religion. If you want to basically do anything, it has to be with people of the religion. So that was tough. But I just knew that I couldn't continue with it. So I made other changes, and finally I faded out or faded away. I was never announced. I was never this fellowship. I never went through a judicial committee, which is what they call when elders get together and try to convince you not to, or basically tell you that because of what's been going on, you are no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And they make an announcement, and then everybody and their moms knows. I know that after this video is uploaded and is made public, then I will be disfellowshipped. Probably within a week or two. I'm not afraid anymore of that. It does not have control over my life anymore, which is great. A year ago, it would have been a total difference. It's been over a year and a half since I have not touched or set foot on a Kingdom Hall or a meeting, congregation. And it's okay. It's been okay. It's been great. I cannot subscribe to that ideology anymore. And I didn't actually for many years. I just had to pretend. So I know it's going to be even a little bit tough for the next 2 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks. My family is going to be disappointed. Even though I no longer participate or I do not longer consider myself as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, but it's going to become public and it's going to become official. And that's okay. There's nothing I can do. But yeah, so that's one thing that has affected me in many ways in the past years. And last year is when I made that decision. And I made it public to certain people, but now it's just obviously going to become public. But yeah, so I'm still the same guy. I'm Mike. I had not been contacted by almost anybody, those friends or acquaintances I had, because they knew that I was kind of in this sort of mentality that I was no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And again, I was seen as somebody who was poisonous or corrupted because I could be a bad association to them. I could be poisonous to their faith. And that's perfectly fine. Life moves on, and I have to move on with it. So I just wanted to make it public. I just wanted to be upfront about it, be honest, and not, take this facade away, take this fake front, and just be honest and real. Although some of you guys already knew that. But for those who didn't, or for those who are gonna watch this video because somebody else is gonna tell them about this video, well, I'm just being honest. And I have nothing against the witnesses. I still love the people that I met, great people, and I'm willing to talk to them and socialize with them and be friends with them. I just simply think a little bit different about my beliefs. And now I'm responsible for those beliefs, and I own those beliefs. And that's it. That's all. So, like I said, I didn't say anything negative about them because there's nothing to say anything about, anything bad about them. I have nothing but good things to say about them. It's just simply that I am in a different channel, and things are going okay. Things are going good. So there you have it. I hope I didn't take too much of your time. Thanks for watching. And if you're going through something like this, or if you know somebody who's going through something like this, be there for them. Offer them your friendship. Offer them your shoulder, your ear. Listen to them, and just be there for them. I've been doing that. And as a matter of fact, I've met other people who have gone through this situation. I even have a buddy of mine who is an ex-Mormon, and I became friends with an ex-Mormon. I would have never done that before. And it's incredible how things are so similar, and we're still going through this process. But I appreciate friendships like his, and I'm sure he does opposite. But yeah, so I've met other people, and I realized that I am not by myself. I'm not alone. And I hope if you are going through that, or you know somebody who's going through this situation, they're not alone. And things get better. All I can say is that I'm happy to say that I am true to myself now, and I do not let other people dictate what I should or should not believe. I believe I used to, but not anymore. And it's okay to be different. It's okay to think differently. It's okay to say no. It's perfectly fine. It is perfectly fine. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm probably gonna make another video later on when the time is right. But for the moment, I just wanted to share this with you guys. And yeah, thanks. So peace out. Bye.